Alright, welcome back to the channel. So, if you looked at the thumbnail and saw the title, that is not clickbait. The house is falling down, but not the whole house. If you watched any of our really old videos, I think right at the beginning of the channel, we did like an abandoned farmhouse tour. We've referenced the house a few times, but not lately. And the reason is because that project's been kind of on hold while we were doing other things. But this back half of the house, so the house was built in 1901, it's 124 years old, and this back, it's not half, this back portion of the house was built in 1980, and a tree fell on it long before we bought it, so probably 15 years before we bought it, and they pulled the tree off but never did anything with the house. No one lived here, it was abandoned, and you know, rain and wind and weather and everything got to it, and eventually it just started deteriorating. And it's deteriorated so much now that portions of the back are literally falling down. And even though this was a project several years down the road for us, we can no longer put off dealing with this before it causes additional issues. So we have someone coming this week to tear off the back portion of the house and then rebuild it. Just gonna get it framed and dried in, and then we'll deal with the rest of it later. But we really have to deal with it before it actually falls down and then causes further damage. Wasn't really on our list of to-dos, and certainly not on our list of money to spend, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Let me show you. We'll start from least bad and we'll work our way to worst bad on the how kind of destroyed this is. All right, so behind me on this end of the house is like a library, and I'll go and show you the inside too. I think we've done it before, but I'll show you the inside. So the tree fell on the roof up there somewhere, and you can see a lot of the damage, but there's way more damage. This window's falling out of the house, the eaves are all shot, and we have tarps on the roof, and that's to try to keep as much rain out as possible to slow down the deterioration, and it helped. I mean, we've had this place for 3 years, and it's gotten worse, but at a much slower rate. So that part's bad, and today's task is actually to move this scissor lift. It is in the way. The battery is dead in it. And the last time I tried to start it, I couldn't get it started, and it has a flat tire. So we're going to try to deal with those things. If we can't get it started, we're just going to drag it out of the way, because it doesn't need to go far. It just needs to get out of the way. But that's that room. That's the least worst. And then here where the small window is, this is a bathroom. And you can see here, there's a big hole in the roof there, and the roof is just completely shot. Doesn't look too bad from the outside, but inside it's in pretty rough shape. Again, we're kind of cascading down from least worst to worst. This is the pump house for the well, and we're going to tear that off, and it'll get rebuilt at some point. But here we go. This room, I don't even really know what you would call this room. But what we're going to end up using it for is a laundry room, mud room, storage room. At some point, we plan, when we do it all, we're going to put in like a dog washing station. So when we bring the dogs in, before they come into the full house, we can wash them right there and make it easy for us. But you can see there is an actual hole in the house. The roof is shot. There's very large holes in the roof here. The window is about to fall out of the house. And the only thing holding that together right now is that T111 siding, that plywood siding. There's nothing left on the inside, and I'll show you in a little bit. Completely rotted away. The floor is caved in. Most of that is gone and fallen down into the foundation. And this is what long-term exposure to water does to a house. It just absolutely destroys it. So this is all going to get torn off and rebuilt. That's coming up this week. But first, we got to do that. But let me take you inside and show you what it looks like from the inside. All right, we're gonna go through door number 1 here. This is into that library room. And again, this is all in the back part of the house, and we keep this all closed off. We don't ever go in here, and we live in the rest of the house. But yeah, door number 1 here, we're gonna go into the library. This is the least worst room. Sometimes I call this the Jumanji room because in this, oh no, yeah, you can see why we call it the Jumanji room. So the reason I call it the Jumanji room is because it has vines growing across the ceiling. And that's because there's a hole in the roof there. And this room has definitely gotten worse. You can see the floor is wet here. It just rained, and so it's been leaking through here. There's a leak over here and a leak over there. And yeah, it's definitely getting worse. The floor by the door here started to cave in. And the wall between the bathroom and the library is completely gone, and so is the floor. This window is about ready to fall out of the house, and it's all just bad. It all has to come down. It just literally needs to get ripped off and thrown out. There's nothing to save here. We'll save the bricks. I don't know if we'll put the bricks back in for the floor or not. Kind of like the look, but also don't. So I don't know. We'll save the bricks. We'll put them in a pile, and that's way, way, way down the line. But you can see, yeah, you can literally see, there we are in the mirror, right into the bathroom, and that is completely gone. The ceiling's gone, and then the hole in the floor. So this is what happens when houses are meant to be lived in, not abandoned. And they're certainly not meant to be rained in. Rained on, but not rained in. So let's go to the next room. All right, I know the lighting is not great, but this is the bathroom. We literally never come in these rooms. These doors have been shut for probably 2 years since the last time I opened these doors. So this was a laundry room and a bathroom. I'm not gonna go too far because the floor is pretty whooped back here. But again, there's the collapsed floor. The ceiling is gone. It's in pretty rough shape. It'll be nice to have all this gone. It just, and all the problems that come with it, and having it cleaned up. And you know, we don't really need the space right now, but having the problem gone would be great. So that's the bathroom, and I actually need to go outside to show you the other room because we have it completely sealed off out from the kitchen. It goes through the kitchen, and I can't get there from there. So we'll go around the other side, and I can show you that room. All right, and we're at the last room here from the outside through these glass doors, and it's bad. So this is what years of rain will do to a house. You can see the floor has completely collapsed and fallen into the foundation. And the ceiling has fallen out, and you can see the walls here, like they're just completely rotted away. There's nothing left. It's literally being held up by hopes and prayers. And that is it. So this is all going to get torn off. There is a little bit of damage. So beyond that door is the kitchen. And there is some damage to the floor there. So when they rebuild this, I'm going to have them fix that as well. That way that's all solved. And there you have it. And that is why we're having done what we're having done this week. Again, it's not, it was supposed to be further down the list of to-dos, but it just got to the point where we couldn't wait any longer. Wasn't money we wanted to spend right now, but we'll just shift funds from different projects. I have to slow down on some of the other ones a little bit to get this taken care of. And I would love to do it myself. It was always on the list to do ourselves, but sometimes you gotta You just got to call an audible and hire somebody. And the fact that they're able to, I talked to them last week, the middle of last week, and they're able to start Wednesday of this coming week is pretty great. So, gonna get over there and see if we can't get that scissor lift started, and we'll see how that goes. All right, well, I think it's the main, call it the ignition switch. It won't even turn, so I'm not gonna fool around with it today. We're gonna just try to drag it out of there, get it out of the way, and it's stuffed in the weeds, and it's hard to work on where it is, so we're gonna get that dragged out of there first. Or I should say, we're just gonna get that dragged out of there and get it out of the way and then deal with it some other day. First thing we need to do is somehow the bolt fell out of the pin on the boom arm on the skid steer, and the pin's worked its way out. And I actually can't get the pin back in all the way. It's like the boom arm is tweaked a little bit. So I think I have to like lift up on it with the excavator, and then should just slide in. So you can see it's worked its way out. It needs to be in the other side. The bolt came out, and yeah, it won't go in. It's like misaligned just the tiniest little bit. It's actually really hard to see because of where it is, and then you can't see anything. But the last thing I need is for that to fall out all the way. That would be really bad. So I think if I lift up the tiniest bit on this with the excavator, then we can slide that in, put a new bolt in there. And then we can use this to drag that out, because I don't want to use the truck. For one thing, the truck's too big, and it's rained recently, so it's going to be a little wet back there. And with the tracks on this, it's a better option for pulling heavy things out. I pulled out the dump truck long time ago in a video, got the dump truck stuck down in the bottom pasture, and this pulled it right out, no problem. So I think that's the way to go. So we're gonna grab the excavator and see if we can do that. All the way, and we need to find something to spin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think your hand's gonna be able to spin it.
No.
Okay. What do you do? No. All right, so that is back in. We just lifted it up enough, put enough pressure on that back of that boom arm where we could tap it in, and then lined up the hole. Just tightening up the bolt right now so that it won't fall out. Went around and greased her up, because it always needs to be greased, so that way it lasts as long as possible. And yeah, we're gonna take this over there, hook a chain up to that thing, and hopefully it'll just pull on out of there. The drive wheels are hydraulic, so I don't know. Find out one way or the other it's gonna move. One way or the other. All right, now that we got the skid steer fixed, bringing it over here, we're gonna hook a chain up to this thing and we're gonna try to drag it out. We're just gonna drag it out further into the yard so it's out of the way. That's it. We don't need to take it anywhere else for now. So let's see how this goes. All right, well that was pretty easy. We had to give it a little bit of a thunk. So the back wheels didn't turn. Those are the drive wheels. They're hydraulic driven, and because it's not, they wouldn't spin. But that's fine. No problem overtaking that with the skid steer. And we got it moved here out of the way. And now that it's not in the weeds and next to the house, it'll actually be easier. Maybe I can work on it at some point and get it running. We do need it eventually to do the insulation in the barn dominium in the roof because it's so tall. It was originally, I purchased it to build the barn dominium, and then we ended up paying someone to do that, so I didn't need it. And so that's why it's sat here for so long, and unfortunately now it doesn't start. So didn't pay much for it, but it would be nice if I could get it running, use it, and actually sell it, get it out of here. I had some extra wheels and tires, but unfortunately they weren't the right bolt pattern, so they're not going to fit on there. But anyway, it's out of the way. We got that done, and that makes it easier for them to come in here, tear everything down, get that out of here. We got the skid steer fixed, and yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today. I don't really want to work a lot today. That was kind of it. So we're going to go on and do some other things. Life's an adventure. Let's keep it that way.